Hey, how's it going, BUY RESIN here. So today I want to talk about the resin issue of Genshin Impact. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of seeing articles saying there's a resin issue and there's no solution to it. And then I'm also tired of seeing very long posts with calculations, statistics, and everything else about why the resin is bad. I think it's a pretty simple solution to all of the resin issues. You don't need long calculations to see how many resin you get in a day, how much you could play a day. Now, let me point out right now that MiHoYo had just put out a survey, and I think one came out yesterday and today, or well, today when this video was recorded, and maybe one will come out tomorrow. When you do that survey, you have to put in that there is a resin issue, that resin is restrictive. You can be as detailed as possible, but this is your time to say something like that. Now, this video isn't aimed towards the YouTube audience. I'm aiming this towards MiHoYo themselves. And I want to send this to MiHoYo, their customer service, whatever, to at least maybe open up some sort of sense of dialogue. First and foremost, we need to fix the resin. How are we going to do this? There's multiple ways. I'll go by a list of possible scenarios that could work for a better resin system. Option number 1, we increase resin as your adventurer rank increases, and not by like a small amount like 1, 2, 3, around 10 to 20. I only think it's fair that the people who've been playing a lot more should be rewarded by being able to access and use more resin. In FGO, you simply just don't do 40 stamina quests. You have to level up, and then you can do multiple at a time. Option number 2, lower the resin cost in general for everything. 64 Dvalin and the wolf thing is too much. Taking up half of your resin just to defeat 2 of them, you could beat both of them in a day and then be done with it, right? And the wolf you only can fight once a week anyway. But the other bosses that take very little effort once you figured out how they play, some can even take less than a minute to defeat. And they cost up to 40 resin, and I'm talking about like the little cube guys. It's not really fair when we use so much resin and we use it all in less time than it takes for it one resin to recover. Here's a hypothetical cost for each of them. Ley lines, 5. The bosses like the hypostasis, 15. Dungeons as well, 15. And then world bosses like the Dvalin and stuff like that, 30. It's not fair that we use up all of our stamina and then we'll have to wait 16 hours for it to fully revive. It's too long, which leads us to option number 3, lower the resin refill time. 8 minutes, way too much time. To even get 20 resin back, you're looking at a good amount of time, 160 minutes, just to refill 20 stamina, just to play something else again. Option number 4, limit what resin is actually needed for. Weapon and character essential materials shouldn't be limited to it. Those items should be behind strong bosses. While Genshin is a mobile game, it's a live service game that takes root with mobile culture. How many games like Genshin, open world games, do you have to spend a certain resource to fight a boss? And even then, not just fight the boss, because you can fight any of the bosses, but you can't claim the rewards if you don't use resin. After defeating a boss, you should just get the reward. Dungeons are the only thing I think that should actually cost resin in this hypothetical situation. To have your progression behind such a huge steep wall, a time limit pretty much, is very detrimental to the game itself. It will drive away people. It's already driving away people at in-game. Many YouTubers will tell you don't spend your primo gems on summoning or whatever. If the YouTubers told you that, don't listen to them. They're already giving you bad advice. Because when you spend your primo gems and stuff like that on the resin, it's telling MiHoYo that it's okay to keep charging for this. It's not okay. Don't spend your primo gems on resin. You have to make a statement. You have to tell them, I don't want to spend it on this. Characters have abysmally low rates, and then you have to also spend your Mora on something that doesn't refill it 100%, and there's a limit to it every single day that increases. Don't spend your primo gems on that. Don't fall for it. Don't succumb to whatever they're giving you. Fight back. It may be a free game, but this game has already made $100 million. I want you to let that sink in. $100 million already made, and it's free. I can understand appreciating the game and putting money into it. I did the same. But I'm not going to fall for the tactics of refilling my stamina, something that shouldn't even exist. All stamina systems are bad. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They've never been good, and they never will be good. which leads to option number 5. Get rid of it. I understand people have already spent money on it, so it's not going to happen. This is why it's hypothetical. But the stamina system needs to go. Put in challenging bosses, interesting dungeons, anything could work besides the resin. Again, voice your concerns about the resin issue with the developers. And don't spend your primo gems, don't spend your money on resin. Granted, as time goes on, this probably won't even be an issue anymore. But right now, the faster we can make it an issue, the better. That way we can actually see change as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.